Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Pink Sock Podcast. I am your host, Mike Usnick. Greg is not joining us. He must be sleeping or must be busy. It happens. But we have a very special guest. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey man, how's it going?
It's going.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you, brother.
It's good. Hi everybody. My name is Chaidura. I'm an alternative rock artist based in London. I'm originally from Singapore, and I play alternative rock, alternative metal that is kind of inspired by J rock and visual K, which are influences from Japan. And very happy to be on the show today. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course, brother. Thank you for tuning in. And I'm going to hook up my internet. There we go. We were having a little bit of a lag. I have to fix something, but no problem, buddy. It's great having you on here. And I always love having a guest on to talk with me. It's always hard talking to myself if Garak's not available.
No worries.
So I heard your recent song. I'm very impressed because I was listening to some of your other music and you're all over the place musically. Like you'll go from really heavy.
Yeah.
You'll go from really heavy to like soft to like, man, I love it.
I mean, some people might say it's being versatile, but to me, I'm just like, I think it's a lack of focus from my end. Like, sometimes I tell myself like, oh my god, you gotta pick one and stick to it. But yeah, because I guess I listen to a lot of different music, and kind of want to express. And I feel, while metal is really what I grew up with, it's what I really is and built upon. I do think that there are certain emotions that metal can't really evoke as much as I would like to, and that's where I kind of turn into electronic music, ballads, acoustic guitars. So yeah, just trying to, and I guess I'm still trying to find my sound ultimately, and that's where I'm kind of at right now. Yeah.
Finding your sound isn't easy, but the thing is, though, is you have to evolve in music, especially when you are all the genres and all the sounds that you are. I wouldn't just label you as alternative. You're like electronic, you're metal, you're rock, you're a little bit of everything. You're a genre bender, as I'd like to call it.
Oh, thanks so much, man.
No problem.
Yeah, but I guess electronic seems to be the consistent thing throughout. But yeah, because I'm kind of like a one, like this is really a solo artist. Yeah,
I totally agree with you. You have a new song coming out, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. There's a new song coming out next week. It's a song called "Heart of Fire." Really excited for everyone to hear it. Yeah, I like. Do I talk about it? No.
Go ahead. The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Yeah, there's a new song called "Heart of Fire" coming out. It's really a song about, like it's doing music and doing what you're passionate about in a world that it's very hard for musicians. There's always this, like I always have to channel my inner strength to bring it out. And I think like my fans and people that I love, they've always been supporting me and giving me the determination to kind of do so. So this song is really like for me to give back to them, and really a song about pushing forward even when times are tough. And that's why it's as it's aptly named, it's about Heart of Fire. So that hopefully people, when they listen to it, they can kind of push through with any difficulties they are facing. This song is, once again, is a little bit all over the place. There's a lot of electronic elements to it, but it is heavily. It is a pretty slower song. Like if you look from a BPM standpoint, it's like below 120, which is really quite slow, especially for given my current, like the past few songs that I've kind of been putting out. But I do think that it's a song that is, atmospheric, kind of hopefully gives people a little bit of hope. And yeah, very excited to release it to the world.
I love that you write music to give people hope and to like help people out because me and myself, I suffer from anxiety, depression, all that fun shit. So it's always great when artists reach out to those kind of people too. Because we are
Oh
all in
yeah,
the same boat.
yeah, definitely,
We're,
and
we're all
yeah,
we're all living this crazy life.
I know what you mean, and it's kind of like I was reading. I'm not sure where this article was from, but it was about like creativity, and they're talking about like creatives, and I think as creatives like you and me both, there's a bigger tendency to kind of feel more and to think a lot. We tend to be overthinkers, and I think that's where, because I suffer from a bit of depression and anxiety as well, and all my friends who are like creatives in their own world have a little bit. So I think, while we are kind of wired differently, like we see the world a little bit differently, we come up with amazing stuff. I think that kind of comes at a price sometimes. So yeah, like, sorry, I just went off on a tangent right
Oh
there.
no, we are open discussion all the way. We're not just music, so you're good. Talk about whatever.
Yeah, man. But I think that's why, I kind of want to give back as how, my favorite bands have kind of helped me out of, anxiety and depression. Yeah, that's why I kind of want to give back in that small way.
See, music has actually been proven to help with anxiety and depression, especially like certain BPMs and stuff like that. And also, ancient monks always used the music to help with anxiety. It's been scientifically proven to help. So I don't know what the science is there, but apparently our bodies work with music.
I believe that like 100%. Yeah, even though like I don't have the science to back it up, but I mean, it worked for me, and I think like religion, and as you mentioned, like monks, they always use like music is always involved. So I do think that it's like the gateway to the spiritual side of us, which is something cool. Like I
Well,
think it's a pretty cool thing.
Well, they also use music to help ease pain, anxiety, because all that stuff goes hand in hand. And once your body hears a certain tone, your body regulates itself, is
Mhm.
why they use music. They didn't know that back then, but now science, as it modernized, like, yeah, it actually works.
For sure, man. Like, definitely believe that. Yeah,
Like,
I,
it's awesome.
yeah. I like this conversation. It's like, it's like, oh yeah, like I play metal, but now we're talking about like
We,
religion
we,
and
we- we're not your typical interview. We just,
yeah.
we talk about whatever. We talk about
I love
whatever. But to talk about your music a little bit before we get on a tangent about anxiety and all that stuff,
it.
are you working towards a new album?
Um, yeah. So I guess this is something I've kind of been struggling a little bit, because once again, like I'm self-managed. Everything is like DIY. So a lot of my strategy, it's really based on what I think kind of works. And in today's like streaming age with like Spotify and YouTube and all that good stuff, um, like for now, I'm kind of just doing like singles, um,
Mhm.
more or less until the end of this year. Like, I really want to make an album. It's like a childhood dream of mine. Like, hopefully, I'll be able to do that one day. But I think from a consistency standpoint, like having singles would kind of work a little bit better. So,
Mhm.
like a personal challenge that I'm putting myself is to kind of have a song out every 6 to 8 weeks. Um, and hopefully by the end of the year, there'll be enough traction to warrant an album next year. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm looking at phasing out the music.
There's a lot of artists now, especially like bigger names too, that are no longer doing albums. They're just releasing singles. That's like I'm a big Weird Al fan. I listen to metal, but you gotta love Weird Al. But he announced that he's not doing albums anymore, and they took it as he's retiring. He's like, no, just albums are phased out. So like a lot of artists are just doing singles.
Yeah, which is I think kind of like the nature of music streaming and the way music is consumed these days kind of resulted into that. But I mean, I grew up listening to albums, and I think that's when I really connect the most with the artist. Like because I'm a huge like J-rock fan, so I've been listening to Japanese rock music since I was young, and like I mean, at least for the albums that I've listened, they always like told a story. There are like soundtracks, sound effects in between, which I always felt gave me a good, holistic type of storytelling vibe. So yeah, like I'm a little bit sad that the current day of music is resulting to singles, but hopefully one day it will kind of go back and I can kind of jump on that again.
It was always nice though, because I kind of grew up in a time we had CDs, we didn't have vinyls, but getting a physical copy, whether it be a CD, a cassette tape, vinyl, whatever, was always great to have because it was art. Like you had the inner sleeve that opened up, you had artwork, you had the CD that had like the artwork on it. It's a lot different than getting a stream.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
like it was a lot different of a vibe, and I kind of miss that.
Oh, 100%. And in fact, like nowadays, like record stores, very limited, right? Like big chains are closing down, and yeah, I know I used to save up like money so that I can just buy those albums, and then I would like I wouldn't even like take off the plastic packaging because I wanted to like keep it intact. But yeah, those were the, oh my god, the good old days. Like now I feel a little bit old.
Some of those CDs might be worth money nowadays, though.
I know, right?
Some of those, yeah. There is a CD record DVD store near where I live in the mall, but they also had to resort to selling like merchandise, like pop figures and stuff, and like they have other stuff other than that.
Right. Yeah. Like, and like currently looking at like several bands and how they are kind of doing their merchandise strategy right now, like, it seems to be moving towards that. I mean, some of them have vinyls and CDs, but it's mostly T-shirts. And I do see some bands coming out with like creative merchandise. Like I went for a gig recently, like over the weekend in London, and the artist was selling like coffee, like his own coffee blend for like £5, and I thought that was pretty cool. They are branching out in different, basically creating their own brand and shop.
Yeah, a friend of mine does that. He a guy that we had on the show once. His name's AC Slade. Give him a little bit of a shout out. He has his own coffee company, Catfight Coffee, and he's also a musician. So yeah, I like it when they branch out like that because I'm like, dude, you can do coffee too. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like,
and I love that. Like it is pretty cool. Like, I mean, for myself, like I do because I'm very into like branding and all those good stuff as well. So like yeah, hopefully like there's some things in the works. Like, I've been trying to find like a good manufacturer of like candles, scented candles, and even stuff like keychains and all those fun things, which I think it's I mean, to me it's just a fun thing to share with everyone. Yeah,
I know there's some bands that I've seen live in particular that their merch booth will sell vinyls of their albums, and their vinyls are usually, because it wasn't always like this back in the day, but it is now. Most of the time they release vinyls, it's a specific color that the vinyl is. It's really artistic. It used to be a select few albums were like that. Now it's like every vinyl that gets printed is special, which I enjoy that too. And I do buy physical copies when I have the money because it helps the artist. The Spotify don't really pay people that much. Let's be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's nice to give back, at least buy a shirt, because that keeps them on the road. I had saw an interview where an artist, a musician, I forget who it was, said that he's just a glorified T-shirt salesman at this point.
Yeah, like it's like we do music to do marketing for the t-shirts.
Yes. We're just a T-shirt company that writes music.
Yeah. I love that. Like I should totally use that as my Instagram bio.
Yeah.
Apparel company. Love it.
Speaking of your Instagram, is Instagram the only place we can find you social media wise?
Yeah, so currently I'm on Instagram and TikTok. However, Instagram is like kind of like the main platform that I'm using. Yeah, like I know there's a lot of talk like Facebook, Twitter, and all these other platforms. However, like it was a conscious choice. Honestly, I'm not sure whether it's the right one as of now, but Instagram seems to be where a lot of the target audience for my music seems to be hiding. And I like the fact that we can kind of interact with the fans directly in DMs and stuff. So yeah, right now Instagram is the main place that people.
I don't blame you, bro. I don't blame you. Having more than one platform is rough.
Yeah, it is so rough.
It's rough because we're on Facebook and Instagram. I tried Twitter, but I have enough problems keeping up with two.
Exactly.
Like it's tough. What is your Instagram and your TikTok for the listeners so they can find you?
Oh, okay. So the Instagram, it's Chaidura _. So that's CHAIDURA _. And for my TikTok, it's just at Chaidura.
Okay, I can actually do this really quick. You said your Instagram is this. Let me get it to go here. Once it goes.
Oh, there
There
we
it
go.
is.
There it is.
That's your Instagram. What was your TikTok?
Yeah, TikTok is just Chaidura without the underscore.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just that without the underscore. Perfect.
Very good.
So, what other plans do you have this year besides this new single coming out that you can disclose?
Yeah, so as mentioned earlier, I think like it's hopefully coming out with singles every 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. I think that's really like a tight timeline that I'm trying to keep. And besides that, hopefully because a bit of a background story, like I'm originally from Singapore. I moved over to the UK last year in August, so that's why I'm currently based in London. So hopefully, like I'll be able to perform a little bit more in the UK. So my band is up and running. We're doing a couple of shows in London, I think in April and May. But hopefully, I'll be able to tour to different cities in the UK in the second half of the year. Maybe hopefully the US. Like I really just hope to go to the US one day. But yeah, just doing more shows, putting up more content, releasing more music. I guess that's kind of like on a high level what I'm the plans for this year.
If you do any US dates and you come near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or Ohio, like Columbus area, I'll come see you. Just let me know when you come.
Thanks. Definitely, yeah.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I live in Ohio, but it's kind of hard to explain where at in Ohio because people be like, "I'm touring in Ohio." I'm like, "Where at?" And they list somewhere that's like freaking 10 hours away, and I'm like, "I get it, you guys are touring and stuff, but 10 hours is a bit of a drive."
Right.
Like I'll drive 4 hours or 5, but
like because like I think
but
a lot of
there's 10
people,
hours.
yeah, a lot of people kind of forget how big the US is. Like it's massive, like so many different cities.
Yeah, and like there's one city in particular that I was living in. It takes about 2 to 3 hours to get from one end of the city to the other.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That
I know over in the UK and stuff, there's places where it takes 3 hours and you're out of the country.
I think probably the same for Europe.
Like
Yeah. Yeah,
Europe
because
is crazy.
it is mad. It's mad.
How do you like it in London?
Um, well, like back in Singapore, the weather is. Sorry, I'm thinking of the temperature in Celsius, so I'm not sure how is it in Fahrenheit. But it's basically like 32 degrees Celsius, which is hot. Like it's just
Mhm,
hot all year round. So being in a country where it's pretty much cold most of the time, like I enjoy it. Loving the weather, meeting a lot of different people. There isn't. I mean, there is an alternative metal scene in Singapore, but it's definitely way bigger here in the UK.
mhm,
So meeting a lot of cool bands, meeting a lot of musicians and artists, and I think everyone's just a little bit more, expressive.
mhm.
Um, and it's very inspirational to be among these people. So yeah, all in all, having a great time.
For all of our American listeners, 32 degrees Celsius is actually about 90 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, there we go. Sounds high, right?
Yeah, that's freaking high. But not to put a damper on that, but I was living in Phoenix, Arizona for a little while, and it was 127 degrees one summer, and
Oh,
that's Fahrenheit. So that's about 30 degrees more than so it'd be about 60 degrees, I believe, Celsius.
right. Oh, dude, like I'm I'm
Yeah.
amazed that you're fine right now.
It was pretty freaking hot. It was pretty freaking hot. I'm gonna make sure I'm right with that because I don't want to tell you severely hot when it's really not severely hot. Um, it would be no, it would be less than that. It'd be about 50 degrees Celsius, I do believe.
Oh, but even 50 degrees is, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it'd be
That's
about
just
50 degrees Celsius, a little more than that, but that's fucking hot. That's fucking
yeah.
hot. I had a buddy who sent me a video. He put a cookie tray on his dashboard and put raw cookie dough on it. He came back about maybe 20 minutes later. It was cooked. He had cooked cookies in his car.
Oh my god, saving on gas bills, man. I guess.
He's an inventor, bro. It,
Yeah.
it was so bad in that weather that you couldn't put your seatbelt on because the metal was too hot.
God.
Like
Wow.
it was wild. Yeah.
I,
Could
I
you imagine getting pulled over?
oh yeah.
You're not wearing your seatbelt. I can't.
at, at the cops will look around, look at the weather, and be like, okay, I understand.
I understand fully.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, like it was wild. And I was kind of dumb because I went out there during like the height of the pandemic, and the area I went in was like the number 2 worst area to be in for COVID. And I'm like, oh, lovely. I made I made it out all right, knock on wood.
That's great, man. I mean, yeah, it is pretty nuts. It's been a crazy few years, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. It's been I tried to make a positive out of a negative because I started this podcast. So
That is great. Yeah.
like at the time I was stuck indoors because I kind of took time off work because I didn't want to risk getting it. Because I know some countries shut down, they took it more seriously than others.
Right.
In the United States, we just stayed working as business as usual.
Mm,
We did get stimulus checks and all that fun shit, but like I took time off work,
right.
and so I started this.
Oh, that's cool, man. And I mean, don't mind me. Like, how has it been going?
It's been going all right. I have a regular job. I have to because let's be honest, podcasting art in general don't really pay that much at first. Like
At first,
you know, as an artist as well as I do. Yeah, at first.
the keyword.
At first.
At first.
you have to have some form of like mental, like anxiety, depression, whatever, some form of mental illness, or be crazy to get into something like this.
I think it was a few weeks ago. I was literally talking to my my music producer, and he was like, "Oh yeah, dude, yeah, I think there's something wrong with all of us. That's why I'm in this scene."
Like it's not an easy thing to get into, especially when you have anxiety, because I have anxiety and getting on a camera was fucking rough. How do you have you performed yet?
Oh yeah, several times actually.
How do you overcome your anxiety to get on stage?
So
like, do you have meditation you do, or
so the funny thing is like I mean, I guess I'm sharing a little bit about my childhood and everything, but back in school, like back in school, it's secondary school, which I believe it's middle school in America. I actually took up like theater as a module, and I think that kind of fundamental training helped me overcome my stage fright from a very young age. So yeah, kind of ever since then, it's okay for me to go up on stage, like, and talk to people and stuff. But so far, I would say that like, yeah, performing hasn't really been much of an issue. But like recently, I've been finding that I find it a bit hard to talk to, like, you know, if you're going for a networking event and you are approaching people, somehow that gets to me really, really easily. And that's where a lot of the anxiety kind of builds up. So it's kind of weird. It's like on stage, it's all fine. But the moment I go down and talk to people, that's where I'm like, oh shit. I need some air.
That way, I get that way too. Like my anxiety gets really bad. Hell, I even sometimes have a bit of health anxiety. Like I'm going to be brutally honest. Like if I have a small symptom or I have something wrong with me, I freak the fuck out and think the worst case scenario. And like I've been getting into meditation lately, trying to anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, firstly, I hope yeah, just you're healthy and everything is going well. But yeah, I think
I've been currently dealing with some shit, but but other than that, I'm fine.
It's great, Mike. I mean, hope everything gets better soon. But yeah, I mean, to your point, like I think meditation is definitely something that helps. Been working out, I guess, like going for runs. And you know, I guess that like eating healthy, all those stuff, it's also part of it. But it's really, I think, like just taking the time to meditate, to breathe, and to reflect. Pretty sure there are like articles online that can link us in the right direction. But something I'm trying.
What causes my anxiety is I've been trying to eat healthy and it seems like nothing is healthy. There's always something wrong with something we eat, and then the whole like exercise thing. I love walking. That's my thing. I just walk. I don't jog. I just walk.
Right.
But like, I don't know. The real anxiety is if you're having symptoms, anybody listening, if you have symptoms, don't Google it. They'll just make it worse. Don't use Google as your doctor. That makes things 10 times worse.
Oh my god! I was fooling around with some of my friends as well. It's like, oh, you have this new like bump on your hand, and I read online like, oh shit, I'm gonna die in 2 hours.
Yeah, like you have a pimple, but next thing you know, you're Googling it and you're gonna die or something. Like,
exactly.
so I try not. I was kind of that guy that way. I would Google shit, and 9 times out of 10, once I go to a doctor, it wasn't even anything that I thought it was. So like, there's sense in worrying about it.
Right. Yeah.
I love having these conversations with people.
Yeah, it's fun. Like I'm having a great time.
Well, you're always welcome back. You're always welcome back when it's me, Gurek. I usually have a co-host with me, but he sometimes has problems waking up because we have this thing usually at noon we're live on Mondays. So if you ever want to be on a live show, that's on Mondays.
Right.
But he's down under in Australia. So it's like 4 a.m. where he's at.
Oh God. Okay, I see.
Yeah, he's dedicated. He comes on this show at 4 a.m. Freaking bells are going.
Must be very dedicated.
Yeah.
Was a great country.
Yeah, Australians are tough people too. They got to fight everything. Australia is designed to kill you. That's how it is.
It seems that way.
Everything there is like awful. Is there anything else you would like to promote before we say our adieus?
Yeah, just I mean, my next single, Heart of Fire, is coming out next Friday. Follow me on Spotify to kind of stay tuned with that. But if you're interested in learning more about me, Instagram is where you can find me. The handle is at Chaidura _. So that's CHAIDURA _. And I mean, just follow me on Instagram. Like, I'm very friendly. You can always chat with me. I love texting people and learning more about everyone. I think that's kind of like where I'm at.
Okay, so this might air after the single's release. So for anyone wanting to know when the single's released, I'd say March 10th, right?
March 10th. Yeah, March 10th.
Okay, March 10th. The single will be out. It was nice chatting with you. If you want to stick around after I end this live so everything can finalize, that would be great. Everybody go check him out. He is amazing. Here's his Instagram handle, and you can also find him on TikTok. The same thing, just without the underscore. And as always, everyone, live long.